Imagine that every major decision in your life was never really a major decision. Not your career, not your relationships, not your health, not your success. Instead, they all began with something so small that you almost never noticed it. 3 seconds, that's all it took. 3 seconds before you decided to get out of bed. 3 seconds before you replied to a message. 3 seconds before you opened social media instead of your textbook. 3 seconds before you said, I'll do it tomorrow. Most people think their lives are shaped by the biggest moments, but psychology tells a different story. Our future is often decided long before the big moments arrive. It's decided in tiny windows of hesitation, moments so brief that they disappear almost as soon as they appear. And if you learn how to control those few seconds, you may completely change the direction of your life. Let's find out why. Imagine two people waking up at exactly the same time, same age, same intelligence, same opportunities. The alarm rings. For a brief moment, both stare at the ceiling. Neither one feels motivated, neither one feels excited. But then something happens. The first person says 5 more minutes. The second person swings their legs out of bed before their brain has time to argue. That tiny decision seems meaningless, but repeat it for a year. One person develops discipline, the other develops delay. Neither outcome was created by one giant choice. It was built from hundreds of invisible moments. Psychologists often describe behavior as automatic loops. Your brain is constantly looking for the easiest path because thinking deeply requires energy. Every time you repeat an action, your brain strengthens the pathway that made that action possible. The scary part, your brain doesn't really care whether the habit is helping you or hurting you. It only cares whether it's familiar. That's why checking your phone first thing in the morning feels natural. That's why procrastination becomes easier every week. That's why confidence grows when you repeatedly act with confidence, even before you actually feel it. The brain learns from actions far more than intentions. Think about how often you've said things like, I'll start on Monday. I'll exercise when I feel motivated. I'll save money after I earn more. These sound reasonable, but hidden inside each sentence is a delay. And delay has a strange way of becoming identity. You don't become someone who delayed once. You slowly become someone who always delays. Now here's something fascinating. Researchers have found that our brains make many decisions before we're consciously aware of making them. That sounds almost impossible, but think about this. Have you ever started eating snacks while watching a movie only to realize the bag was empty before you remembered taking most of the bites? Your actions were happening almost automatically. The same thing happens with scrolling. You unlock your phone for one reason. Seconds later, you've forgotten why you picked it up. 10 minutes disappear, then 30, then an hour. Nobody plans to waste an hour. It happens one tiny decision at a time, and each decision lasts only a few seconds. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine standing at the edge of two roads. One road looks easy, the other looks slightly uncomfortable. Neither road changes your life today, but after 10 years, one leads somewhere you never imagined. The strange part is that every single day, you're standing at that same intersection. Not once, dozens of times. Do I speak up? Do I stay silent? Do I save this money? Do I spend it? Do I study? Do I scroll? Do I apologize? Do I let my ego win? Life isn't asking one giant question. It's asking hundreds of tiny ones. Now let's talk about something psychologists call friction. Human beings naturally avoid unnecessary effort. If your running shoes are hidden in a closet, you'll exercise less. If unhealthy snacks are sitting on the table, you'll eat more. If your phone is next to your pillow, you'll probably check it before your feet touch the floor. The environment quietly controls decisions before your willpower even has a chance. That's why successful people often don't rely on motivation. They reduce friction. They make the right choice easier than the wrong one because they understand something most people ignore. The hardest part of almost every good habit isn't the habit itself. It's starting. And starting usually happens inside just a few seconds. Let's take another example. Imagine you're about to introduce yourself to someone new. Your brain immediately creates excuses. What if they ignore me? What if I sound awkward? What if they think I'm weird? These thoughts arrive almost instantly. If you listen to them, the opportunity disappears. But if you move before fear finishes its speech, something interesting happens. Your confidence catches up with your action. Most people think confidence comes first. In reality, action often comes first. Confidence is frequently the reward, not the requirement. This explains why courageous people still feel fear. They simply act before fear becomes a decision. There's another hidden enemy inside those 3 seconds. Perfection. Perfection sounds productive, but most of the time, it's just fear wearing expensive clothes. You tell yourself, I need a better plan. I need better equipment. I need more knowledge. I need the perfect timing. Weeks become months. Months become years. Nothing changes. Not because you lacked ability, because you kept waiting for certainty. But certainty rarely comes before action. It usually comes after experience. Children learn to walk by falling. Entrepreneurs learn by failing. Athletes improve by making mistakes. Nobody reaches excellence by waiting until they're ready. They become ready because they begin. Now let's look at the opposite side. Bad habits don't announce themselves. They whisper. Just one video, just one purchase, just one skipped workout, just one late night. Individually, none of these decisions seem dangerous. Collectively, they become your future. Imagine filling a glass with water. One drop changes nothing. Another drop changes nothing. 1,000 drops overflow the glass. Success works exactly like that. Failure works exactly like that too. Neither arrives overnight. Both arrive quietly, one decision at a time. One day, people suddenly call someone lucky. They don't see the hundreds of invisible choices that created that moment. Luck often looks a lot like consistency from the outside. Here's something even more surprising. Your identity is constantly watching your behavior. Every action becomes evidence. When you keep promises to yourself, your brain starts believing, I'm someone who follows through. When you repeatedly quit, your brain begins believing, I'm someone who gives up. Notice the difference. Identity isn't built by what you say. It's built by what you repeatedly prove. That's why even tiny wins matter. Reading one page, doing one push-up, saving $1, writing one paragraph. These actions seem too small to matter, but they aren't trying to change your results today. They're trying to change who you believe you are. And once identity changes, behavior becomes much easier. Now imagine looking back 10 years from now. Which version of yourself would surprise you more? The one who slowly became healthier, wiser, calmer, and financially stronger? Or the one who stayed almost exactly the same because they kept waiting for tomorrow? The difference won't be one dramatic event. It will be thousands of forgotten moments. Moments nobody applauded. Moments nobody noticed. Moments that lasted only a few seconds. Here's a challenge. Tomorrow morning, pay attention to your first decision, not your biggest decision. Your first one. Notice the conversation inside your mind. Notice the hesitation. Notice the excuses. Then ask yourself one simple question. If I repeat this exact choice every day for the next 5 years, where will it take me? That question changes everything because it forces you to stop judging decisions by how they feel today and start judging them by where they lead tomorrow. Your future isn't hiding inside some distant opportunity. It isn't waiting for a perfect breakthrough. It isn't locked behind extraordinary talent. It's quietly being built inside ordinary moments that almost everyone ignores. 3 seconds. That's all it takes for your brain to choose comfort or growth. 3 seconds to reinforce the person you've always been. Or 3 seconds to become someone you've never been before. Years from now, people will look at your life and see the results. They'll see the career, the relationships, the confidence, the health, and the success. What they won't see are the thousands of invisible 3-second decisions that built every single one of them. And maybe that's the greatest secret of all. Your life doesn't change when the world notices. It changes in the moments so small that no one else ever will.